As of Monday morning, Miami Hurricanes head coach Mario Cristobal has not committed yet to a starting quarterback against Florida State. Is he going to make the move away from Tyler Van Dyke?
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, if there is such a thing. This is not a happy Monday for Miami Hurricanes fans. I am Alex Donno, your host. I'm a University of Miami alumnus, longtime South Florida sports radio vet, and contributor to allhurricanes.com. And thank you so much to the everydayers for making Locked On Canes your first listen. We are available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. That's why LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the right people for your team faster and for free. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. Terms and conditions apply. So the quarterback situation seems to be in flux this week, and honestly, it should be in flux. And joining us now, the man, the myth, the legend, our boy Blue, Larry Blustein. And Blue, you don't know how badly I needed you on this episode because I already had my venting session yesterday, and I said everything I had to say about that loss to NC State and the embarrassing offensive performance and quarterbacking performance that came with that. So I'm like, I need Blue today. Like, I need someone who can help me talk off this ledge. But, Larry, Cristobal was on the Joe Rose show this morning, and, he didn't outright say Van Dyke is still going to start, nor did he say Emory Williams is going to start. Let me see if I can get the quote here just so I can, represent the situation fairly. He says, "We don't discuss the intricacies of our personnel stuff, especially when we're still meeting, putting stuff together as an organization. We're frustrated with the loss, not the effort. When it came down to those critical moments, they had 48 plays. We had 70. We had more yards. Everything points to the recipe for success and those critical things we didn't do well." So, Blue, let me ask you, should they stick with Tyler Van Dyke after 10 interceptions in his last 4 starts?
I'll be honest with you, Alex, just watching the way things are and listening to, all the feedback and, the way that, a coach, and coach speak will tell you, oh, well, right now it's not a good, well, right now is the only time, Tyler. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, it's not sugarcoating. Everybody has eyes. They could see he's just not been the quarterback that Miami needs. In fact, they're wasting a top caliber defense, which they have, on this offense. It's an amateur offense right now. They have 5 plays that they continue to run. He looks like he has no emotion whatsoever. And no, well, they'll lose it. No, they're not going to lose the team. I mean, everybody wants to win. You could see it as plain as day. Listen, this has nothing to do with Tyler Van Dyke, the person, but this is a program that wants to move forward. And they've, over the last 3 weeks, have regressed. And that's not a good thing. And it must be tough for Mario Cristobal to come on there. But how can he possibly justify leaving Van Dyke in the game? Because evidently they continue to lose. So lose with somebody to develop. Obviously this week, this is not taking any shots. They're going to get crushed if they don't find a solution to get that defense off the field. That FSU is going to take such advantage of the fact that Miami is in disarray. You got to make a move. And I take no shots at anybody. This is just something that everybody could see. Coaches, fans, players. How can you not see what Miami's going through? And if he gives them the best shot to win, that's not a good omen right now. And because if you can't see what he's done, you just illustrated, he throws ill-advised passes. His decision-making is borderline crazy. And he's just not what Miami needs right now. And it's, again, I don't want people, Larry's taking shots. I'm not taking shots. It's as simple as the day is long that you're watching this offense, it's inept. I counted, they have 4 plays. How many times they're going to run a bubble screen? How many times they're going to go to the outside or keep running Mark, and everybody off tackle all the time instead of spreading things out. And I'm not saying it's not that Dawson's not innovative, because I'm sure he is. But right now, they don't have the personnel to be doing what they're doing, and it all starts at the quarterback spot. He just doesn't. It just doesn't seem rational that you would keep somebody in, just like if you were a baseball manager and your starting pitcher's getting roped. I mean, would you leave him in there for 15 runs, 16 runs? You got to make a change. And like I said, the change may not have to be permanent, but the change has to be made. This relief pitcher is sitting on the damn, bench, and he's ready to do something. The enthusiasm of either Jacurri or who comes in. I don't, I'm not the coach, so I don't say, but I am a fan, and I'm watching, and it hurts. It hurts to see Miami's defense do what they're doing and come up on the losing end of games that they should be just, they should be 8-1 right now, to be honest with you, and not. And they're just, they're bowl eligible, but I think this program needed more out of this year than just being bowl eligible.
And you brought up something that is definitely worth talking about, the idea of possibly losing a team, because maybe one argument would be, well, if you bench your veteran, maybe then you lose your locker room. If you keep him out there and he keeps throwing 3 interceptions per game, which has become normal, that's a way to lose your locker room, Blue.
100%. 100. That is the best statement, that these guys want to win. So they're not going to take it as a cut if you make a change. Just like if your defensive secondary is not doing the job, you replace them. Yeah. I mean, why is it such a code that you can't replace a quarterback, but you could put 7 freaking pitchers in a game? I mean, I just don't understand that. The objective is to come out with a win any way you do it. I don't care if you go to the Wildcat. I mean, how many times have teams go to the Wildcat formation? Do you think that they lost a team just because they're trying to be innovative? It's a hot hand thing. And you can see, again, not a cut on Tyler, but right now, he's just an average at best. And that's really giving him credit, quarterback. Yeah. And you could see it. I mean, and everybody could see it. And you get frustrated and you don't want to say something. But I love this team. And I love this program. And I follow this probably longer than 99% of the listeners, on this podcast. I mean, since 1959, there's very few people have been, in this thing. And as a little kid going to games and, watching this program. And right now what's going on, it makes no sense, because you have other guys that you can insert and try to spark it.
So we got to talk about what things might look like if it is Emory Williams or even if it's Jakari Brown this weekend. I do want to pick Larry Blustein's brain on Mark Fletcher, because he is coming on, and he is thankfully Fletcher gives us something to look forward to, not only in the present and the future. So you know what you want to do? You want to keep it locked right here. We got the GOAT, Larry Blustein, with us. We are only getting started on this episode of Locked On Canes. Time now for our game changer of the week, brought to you by Athletic Brewing Company. Yeah, it's Mark Fletcher. 5 yards per carry this past weekend, career high 115 rushing yards. Certainly was not Mark Fletcher's fault that Miami lost that game. And much like that freshman running back, Mr. Fletcher, Athletic Brewing has completely changed the non-alcoholic beer game. They make non-alcoholic beers that actually taste good. They're great tasting and award-winning. They beat out full-strength beers in global competitions. Athletic Brewing brews over 50 styles of craft non-alcoholic beer, including IPAs, golden sours, and so much more. And they're constantly releasing limited edition experimental styles that add to their variety. They are fit for all times. No hangovers ever. You can find Athletic in-store, online, and now at bars around the country. Go to athleticbrewing.com. And for first-time customers, you can use code LOCKEDON. All one word, Locked On, and get 15% off your first online order. That's code Locked On at checkout for 15% off at athleticbrewing.com. Near beer, Exclusions and conditions apply. Athletic Brewing Company, fit for all times. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. And guys, for the everydayers out there, make sure you're tuning in every Friday. Locked On College Football Kickoff Live, 11 a.m. to noon. I host that alongside Drake Toll and Kenton Gibbs. And man, Kenton, he's also the Locked On Wolfpack guy. So I may owe him an Athletic Brewing Company beer or something because his team got one over on mine. But make sure Locked On College Football Kickoff Live, tune in. It streams live 11 a.m. on this YouTube channel, Locked On Canes, and every YouTube channel on the Locked On College Network. So make sure you check that out. Larry Blustein is with us. So, Blue, Emory Williams is he's one snap away from burning his red shirt, but I don't think the coaching staff would be opposed to using him because they kind of made the decision that they were going to burn his red shirt before Jakari's anyway, because Jakari wanted a red shirt this week. We have seen Emory, obviously a couple points in relief for Van Dyke, and he started and won that Clemson game. Yeah. Playbook was really buttoned up for most of that game, Blue, but they had to open it up in the fourth quarter. Williams made some big-time throws. Florida State is the toughest team on Miami's schedule. So if Williams does get the call this weekend, it's not going to be easy for him. But, because, a lot of people, we've been asking the question throughout the season, which quarterback gives Miami the best chance to win? With the way Van Dyke's been playing, the new question might be, which quarterback gives us a better chance not to lose? And that might be Emory Williams right now. What might you expect if he gets the call this weekend?
How things go full circle. 3.5 years ago, I was sitting in Tallahassee at a camp, and there was this tall kid throwing the ball, making every throw possible, albeit in shorts and T-shirt. And it was Emory Williams, who was right from down the line in Milton, which is right near the Pensacola area. And if he starts, he's going to have family, he's going to have friends, they're going to make their way over. And give him something of a renewed energy and something positive, because as well as I do right now, the offense is lackluster. They're not performing the way they should. And they're just not innovative, and they don't make plays. And, it's not a secret. Again, I keep reiterating that it's not a cut, because I don't want to cut down people. I'm just saying what it is. It's just a fact is right now the offense is not good. And they're not making plays. They're running the same plays. I charted it the other night. They had 4 plays, and maybe they went to a 5th. And you have talent, but right now in the quarterback position, your leadership role, it's just not getting done.
One player. Actually, before I switch to Mark Fletcher, I want to ask you about, Jakari Brown. We haven't seen him to this point. We know he is redshirting, but he could theoretically finish the season without burning the red shirt, because you got 3 games left on the schedule. Bowl games don't count towards red shirt. So he could finish the season if they wanted him to. We've seen, Jakari has had issues with his accuracy throwing the football, but he can be a dynamic playmaker on the ground. Is there any chance they should turn to him? He's got some experience.
Yeah, either one, would make more sense. You get an opportunity. They both know the offense. They both, especially Jacurri's been there a year longer, and the kids trust him. Won the game last year at Georgia Tech. He's very, as you said, very athletic. And you never know with his athleticism. He may be able to be the quarterback that will move the linebackers back and not so much stack in the box and trying to stop the running game on every play, tackle to tackle. It may give them an opportunity to use their backs out of the backfield a little bit more now, because they don't have the time. And, that's another thing. You look at Tyler's guy has none or very little mobility. So they don't respect that he's going to hurt them with his legs. So in Jacurri's plus is that he can. And he could just spread the offense open a little bit. So it doesn't really matter. You have Emory Williams, who's got mobility and not the type that Jacurri has, but a really good arm, as opposed to somebody like Jacurri Brown, who Mario Cristobal still loves. And why not? He's a great athlete, and he's made all the positive, statements about him not going anywhere. He wants to be here. He loves it here. He loves the competition. And so either one, you're going to get a more energetic version of that quarterback position. And that's what Miami really needs. And you know what, if people want to argue with me and say, oh, no, you can see it. Watch the game. You can see it. There's just no energy coming from that position. And it's not like a DB or a wide receiver who you could replace. It's a quarterback who's your, lifeline on your offensive side of the ball.
Blue, 2 weeks ago, Mark Fletcher was the hero in overtime, scoring the 11-yard walk-off touchdown against Virginia. This past weekend, I know the offense overall was very bad. For what it's worth, he was the offensive MVP. He was most of Miami's offense with his 115 yards. This is a true freshman out of American Heritage. You scouted him a whole lot in high school, more than probably anybody else out there. Talk about what you're seeing these last couple of games from Fletcher and how much better can he get?
Yeah, no surprise. Big-time kid, great person, team player, somebody who was no mistake that every team in the country, including Ohio State, wanted him because he's that type of back. He's a hard running back. He's versatile. Even though he's a larger target, he gets low. His pad level's different than, a guy his size. He's the gamer. He's an ultimate team player who wants to be in there. He could take a pounding. He could give out a pounding. And I just think that if they give him more, by slipping out of the backfield after blocking a little bit, getting him in space, because imagine getting somebody like that in space against a corner, or even a safety. I mean, that's something that they don't want to look forward to. And right now, from a line from scrimmage standpoint, you pointed out, over 100 yards against a defense that knew he was going to run. That's the crazy
right.
part.
There was no mystery there whatsoever.
Yeah, there was no mystery. And that's what makes it so neat, is that when there's some deception or equal play from the quarterback position, who can put the ball in the air and get it to the wide receivers, imagine how effective he's going to be, because it's not going to be so crowded at the line of scrimmage. They may be able to get him out in space, which I really love to see. And everybody believes in him. And, he's everything it's advertised. And, he's well on his way, staying healthy to be a really good professional back as well, because of his size, his speed. He just has so much character, too. And like I said, it comes from a great family. After the Virginia game, and we were in the press conference, the whole family was, came in while he was in there, and they embraced him. And, it looked like a really loving, supportive family. And that's what you need.
Yeah, and I like to see some of these young guys like Fletcher and Reuben Bain and CC Maui Noah helping change the culture, because that's got to happen through recruiting, and it's got to happen with strategic transfer portal additions. And speaking of recruiting, Miami a few days ago lands a literally gigantic JUCO offensive lineman, Markel Bell, 6'8.5". 340 pounds. Watching a little bit of his tape, Blue, he's a man amongst boys at the junior college level. Hopefully he can kind of follow that same path as Bryant McKinney, who had, a similar stature. Yeah. Miami got him from JUCO as well back in the day. What have you seen from Markel Bell? I'm sure you've broke down as much tape as anybody.
Yeah. Well, I watched him a couple of times. Quick off the ball, as you said, he reminds me of a snowplow, because you get him in front, and he uses his base and his big frame. He's really strong. Legs are just amazingly big and strong, and the only thing that he lacks is a little bit of technique. And that he comes here and gets that in a major way from Coach Mirabal and Coach Cristobal. We knew when this new regime came in, Alex, and we talked about the success that Coach Mirabal had, everywhere he's been, FIU, at Marshall, at Oregon with his longtime buddy, Mario Cristobal, that when you land talent, he be able to mold them into something special, and he has. And obviously with Lee and Javion Cohen, they've started the ball rolling, and then a lot of the younger guys who were in place for the last couple of years are now following suit, and they've got a few offensive linemen coming in this next class. Then obviously getting a junior college transfer of this caliber is something special. So you know what? I know that this is kind of a Blue Monday, so to speak. But you know what? I think that if you look at it in the perspective, I think over the next couple of years, Miami's really, really going to do some great things.
Well, kickoff has been announced 3:30 p.m. this coming Saturday. Miami Hurricanes at Florida State Seminoles. I'd love to pick Blue's brain on that matchup a little bit. So you know what you want to do, my friends? You want to keep it locked right here to Locked On Canes. And hey, if you're a small business owner, you know how important LinkedIn Jobs is right now, because these days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. You add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile and spread that word that you're hiring. Simple tools like screening questions make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you'd like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. So post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen today. We are available free wherever you get your podcasts and available free on YouTube. Blue, Hurricanes 15 point, well, I think it's 14.5 now, point underdogs against Florida State for this coming Saturday. I'll be watching that betting line on FanDuel throughout the week. But, you know, I'm not going to argue that number, Blue. Florida State, clearly a better team right now. Miami has quarterback questions. They do not. Jordan Travis is doing a fine job. Even without 5 receivers this past week, they still lighted up against Pittsburgh. So what are the keys for you this coming weekend? Who can Miami keep it close this weekend?
Well, it all depends what they do offensively, because we know defensively, if the defensive unit's limited to be on the field and they don't have to be on 1,000 plays, they're really good unit. I mean, they are. I mean, they rush the passer really well. They stop the run real well. Their secondary is very good, but that's the key. If the offense doesn't move the ball, Miami keeps going 3 and out or throwing picks and giving FSU every advantage in the world, you got very little chance to win the game. But if everything comes into place, kind of force some turnovers, grab an early lead like Boston College did, against FSU, I mean, anything could happen. You look at the games that they've played this year, when they're given the ball and they're given an opportunity to score, they do it. But when you force fumbles and you make Travis do some things that he may not want to do, then it becomes a better game. And I'm going to go with part B. And I think that Miami's coming out. Their defense is going to pull their ears back and go at it.
I like it. I've said it before. I'll say it again. Larry Blustein has the most informative show you're going to hear on the radio. If you're a high school football fan, a recruiting fan, a college football fan, just a sports fan in general, you get just about everything from Blue. What can fans expect on the South Florida High School Sports Show this week? No worries.
Tuesday, we're going to talk high.
Forgive the technical issues there. So Blue is going to be on Tuesday at 6 p.m. It's funny. He was frozen there, just like, hello. But awesome job as always by Larry Blustein. Tuesday, 6 p.m. on AM 560 Sports WQAM. Blue is the man. You guys are awesome for making Locked On Canes your first listen. Make sure if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, the Odyssey app, Google Pods, leave us a 5-star rating and review. And if you watch the video version on YouTube, make sure to hit the thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and make sure that you guys are spreading the word. Join our Locked On Canes Insiders group. $4.99 a month. I include the link in the show description below. You can try it free for 14 days before you lock that in. And we will talk to you guys again tomorrow, Truth Teller Tuesday, on another episode of Locked On Canes, part of the awesome Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.